Hey, welcome to a new video. Today I'm in a little tropical island in the middle of the Pacific. I've been invited here to tell the story about the local car culture. So we're gonna dig deep and find out what car culture in Guam is all about.
For years, Guam was a popular holiday destination for the Japanese. With it only being a 3-hour flight from Tokyo, it has always been the closest way to get that feel of being in the US without actually being in the mainland. Throw a tropical climate and beautiful beaches into the mix, and you can understand why it was such a good alternative to Okinawa or Hawaii for most in Japan. But then COVID hit, the yen started to devalue, and the Japanese stopped going. Now most of the tourism comes from Korea and China. I too had been to Guam a few times in the past, but it sort of fell off my radar until Freddie from Culturally Living Natives came up to me at TAS early this year and asked if I was interested to come over to the island and cover car culture there. Honestly, knowing how small the island was, I assumed the car scene was pretty much non-existent, but fast forward a few months and I found out that making assumptions is never a good thing.
Right, and up until a few years ago, this Guam Raceway is where car culture used to meet. It's got a drag strip, there's an off-road park, and people got to practice their drifting, but it actually shut down a few years ago. However, today the gate is open, so we might go in and take a look at what used to be the heart of car culture on the island.
Guam had a rich and diverse car culture that used to thrive some 20 or so years back. The local government even built up the Guam Raceway Park, a drag strip, off-road course and a skid pad to give car guys and girls a place to perfect their skills and prove their car's performance.
And it's pretty crazy because the facility actually included this really nice open space for drifting. People could come here, do a bit of drift practice around this kind of like sunken area. There's an off-road track all the way up there, motocross track. So much space, such a wasted opportunity for a facility. And most importantly, it would keep a lot of people off the roads, you know, when they kind of build cars and want to go out and try them. This would be the perfect place to come and do that in pure safety. And unfortunately, that option is now gone. So, you know, the thing that I've been trying to touch on in the whole video is the fact that I feel you guys are getting shortchanged for having the track closed on you. You have no more outlet. Like, what do people do after they build their cars or they want to practice and improve? Like, there's nowhere they can get stuff done unless they do it on the street, which is not really what you want to be doing.
It's not ideal. Yeah, it's really not ideal. Unfortunately, the track was closed, I want to say a couple years ago now, and we've been in the process of trying to reopen it. We formed a different group, put a different group of guys together just to try to convince the government that it's a good idea, you know, to open this track. Convince them that it's a good thing for Guam. Good thing for Guam, like it's like twofold, you know what I mean? We get the kids to express their knowledge and their passion, you know, through motorsports. And then we get people like yourselves coming in and filming what we do, you know what I mean? In its heyday, we were running cars like this every Sunday. It was a family event. Yep. Kids, we were barbecuing, we got drinks flowing and everything, and we just go up there, watch the races, and hope one day that we get to race one of these things, you know what I mean? So now, fast forward, we're adults now, and we're like, man, now we don't got a track. Now what do we do? Like you said, a lot of the guys are taking to the streets, you know, they're going to the newly paved roads. Unfortunately, we've had several incidences where there's accidents or different accidents. We don't want that anymore. We wanna open the track. The governor's been extremely supportive. She appointed a couple new board members, you know, that are going to help us, or at least that's the hope, right? They're going to help us open up this track. So we recently had a meeting with the CLTC board. It's called the Chamorro Land Trust Committee, because they're the people that actually own the property, and we're simply asking to use it, to revitalize it, use what's existing already, use the existing infrastructure. So the new group that's in charge of helping us out seemed pretty motivated, you know what I mean? We had a meeting last week, and they were saying that Guam needs this. They actually saw eye to eye with us, and they're like, Guam needs it. Guam needs to be that international hub that it once was, you know, back in like 15, 20 years ago, you know, for motorsports. And I believe we can. We got the facilities. We need to update them, that's for sure. We need to put some safety barriers in there, but we can do it. You know, with the right group of guys, we can definitely do it.
Yeah, well, I hope you get there, because I think there's so much passion, there's so much culture here. It just needs that extra little bit of an outlet for people to strive towards something and, you know, make their goals a reality.
Yes, for sure. I mean, we were drag racing up there. I want my kids to drag race up there. So we definitely need it. I mean, I believe the island needs it. It's going to be great for tourism.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, we're going to get people coming in from Asia like they once did. You know, come here, spend some time up at the racetrack, and then visit the beautiful sights, the waterfalls, the beaches, and just the culture. You know, the car culture and our Chamorro culture. I mean, it's the best.
So this is the actual, I guess, pit building right next to the drag strip, the office that kind of ran the whole space here. It's been pretty much trashed over the last few years since it's been closed. Everybody's probably, you know, gone inside and basically broken everything that was in there. And it's pretty crazy how a few years of abandonment has turned this place into a complete overgrown jungle. Of course, here the vegetation just goes if you don't keep up, and they've dumped a lot of machinery around here as well. But a pretty sad state of affairs to see such a massive potential here to not only grow car culture, but also keep it in a very safe place where people can not only come and enjoy themselves, but really improve their skills. Imagine if, you know, you could access your drift track here all the time. You would just improve your driving capabilities so fast. Same with drag racing, you can refine your tunes and, you know, keep building towards something. But having taken this away from the people, the culture can no longer thrive, it can no longer grow, and there's not an outlet where people can just show off and you know, show what the cars that they built and the results. And basically the last resort is just creating, you know, events and meetups and stuff like that. But yeah, pretty sad to be seeing this. And as we walk away from the main office pit building here towards where, you know, I guess this was the car park kind of entrance area from the main road, it's just an insanely vast amount of space here. More than enough to contain all of Guam's best and upcoming builds, really. You can see as you make your way down here, you get right back into the main drag strip area here, which has its own return road on the side there. So beautiful facility, could potentially come back and not only save Guam car culture, but really help grow it and kind of prepare for the future. However, that does not mean that car culture has come to complete halt. You're never going to stop car guys. So, you know, there's always people, you know, growing their collection and building cars and perfecting them. And the only way that you can get that out in the open here is through car events. And we're going to be checking one out next. It's called XS Elites. It's basically a collection of some of the best cars on the island. And I'm told it's all about variety, which to me is surprising because, you know, when I come here to Guam, I don't really see or expect a variety of cars. There's not much out there except a lot of JDM stuff and a lot of American stuff. But the guys here have told me to, you know, prepare myself because I might be surprised. So keen to see that next. Hey, sorry for the interruption. I just wanted to remind you guys that still close to 80% of people that check into Dino DC don't subscribe yet, so please make sure you hit that subscribe button. It really helps us bring you more content from Japan and the world. With that, back to the video. All right, next up on our few days here in Guam is to check out local car culture, and what better way to do that than a car show. We're lucky enough that there was a pretty big event happening at the same time of our visit, FX Elites, and we're here today to check out what Guam car culture is all about. In its small little space, they actually have a lot of variety, so we're going to take a look, have a quick walk around and see what's up. Cool, well, I'm here with the organizer of the show, and we're just basically going to have a little chat, kind of find out what the whole culture here in Guam is like and how the show came to be. You told me you started a couple of years ago, right?
Yeah, so we started 2 years ago. First it was, we started out as a showcase, and then it was invitational only.
Yeah.
So it was the first time Guam's ever done invitational shows. And then, they wanted it again. So we did another one at the beach. It was FX in Paradise. Mm-hmm. And then they wanted it again, so this is a FX Elites now. So now they're challenging for 6-foot trophies. And we're just trying to bring back the scene in Guam because it kind of died down during COVID, and we lost our track. So trying to bring back momentum.
You told me it was really like happening back in the day.
It was, yes. Car shows were super big back in the days. Hydraulic contests. We had hoppers, bed dancers. We had drifters, drag racers, and now it's just like we don't have anything anymore. So we're just trying to bring it back slowly. Yeah, trying to rebuild it.
Well, I have to say, there's a lot of energy today. I think you're in the right kind of way to get it back to the energy you used to have before.
Cool, thanks.
Like, what are you planning for next year? Are you trying to go bigger or?
Yeah, I mean, especially with you here, I mean, it just validates the whole thing now.
Yeah.
You guys coming out, seeing the Guam culture, and and now that the Guam guys that see that it's actually serious and there was actually serious builds there, I think it has room to even be more bigger later on, right? So
awesome.
We're hoping that it gets bigger. We just want to try to catch up.
Good luck with that. And
Thank you.
It's been awesome checking a culture that I never really knew existed to this point, and especially this variety. I really had a lot of fun today.
Awesome.
All right. Thanks, man.
Zeno.
Thank you. All right, so I think to kind of have an interesting approach to showing you the show, we're going to subdivide it into categories, starting off with JDM, and kind of give you the best of what I come across today, starting off with this S13, which is basically slammed on a set of chromed up T37s, the old school version. And it's an automatic, but it's just done so well. All right, we have a sweet JZX 100 Chaser here sitting on Blitz 03s. I love the fitment, I love the stance, I love the fact that it runs a top-mounted ready turbo. Perfect build for kind of daily use, street use, could be drift, could be grip. Really nice approach. All right, a really cool, interesting thing for me today is, like I mentioned, the variety. I never expected to find VIP cars in Guam, but there's actually two Lexus LS460s Celsius. Starting off with this one here, nicely stanced, going on to this crazy example here with suicide rear doors and on hydraulics. This is redefining leather interiors here. It's even a bloody toenail. All right, so just like in Japan, ER34s with GTR fronts are really popular. The owner of this one's actually gone to the trouble of fitting an RB26 head, top-mounted turbo, Grady aftermarket plenum, really nice R34 street car. All right, how about an R34 GTR? This is actually one of two on the whole island. Really nice white example on Nismo GT4s. All right, found another really cool car, old school Starlet 4-door on some sweet Advan Rally tri-spoke wheels. All right, this is another great example of the variety of car culture here in Guam. They get up to all sorts of stuff, even rock crawling. This is a 1,200 horsepower build, absolutely insane. Built with a bunch of parts out of Alabama, apparently. All All right, this is something else I really never expected to find here in Guam. Sports cars, supercars. We got a new Gen NSX, GT3 RS 991, and a Ferrari 488 convertible. Okay, this is actually something I did expect to see here in Guam. Pretty heavily modified Chevy truck running what looks like a crate engine. And of course, a ton of custom American cars, muscle cars, and even earlier stuff just like this. Also some modern American stuff, just like this cool new gen Corvette, of course mid-engine. A few mods looking sweet on Rohana wheels. With a heavy American influence, there's also a lot of Honda stuff happening in Guam, including some really cool stuff like this EK with a K-swap. Alright, so I hope you guys enjoyed checking out this show here in Guam. And now it's over to something a little bit quieter.
Freddie made sure that my visit to the island coincided with the FX Elite show, a fresh new attempt at bringing Guam car culture back together for all to see, combining generations of builders into one venue to help ignite that spark of enthusiasm back into it all. It's a great initiative from the organizers, a really solid first step, but more is needed. At first, I didn't know exactly what that was, but one look at the now closed local drag strip and it all made sense. On such a small island, I feel the local government really needs to recognize the importance of giving people an outlet. Most importantly, it keeps things safe. Competition helps fuel the scene and attract fresh blood, rather than risking having people take that to the street.
All right, and another cool angle of car culture here in Guam is the people that get into VIP. This is something that I was not really expecting, but the scene here is really cool. It's really fresh. They get all the products from Japan, and we're here right now at Car Audio Image with the guys from Made to Excite. We're gonna check out some of their cars and hang with them for a little bit. Again, thank you so much for having me today. I just wanted to know who you are, what your company is, how you got involved in car culture here on the island, and kind of progress to doing what you do today with the VIP scene.
My name is Chris Delfino from Guam. I wouldn't have done this without my car club. I mean, that's where it all started, 30 years ago.
Wow.
So when we were like 15, 16, that's when it started. I got interested in, building cars, the racing. We had team members who were racers, guys had hydraulics. I mean, I could never forget that. 30 years of learning everything, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
From there with the car club, it transitioned for me to open a shop because I had a lot of friends who were like, you know what, Chris, what are you doing? I would work at my house and everything. And they're like, why don't you just open a shop? Stop playing around and open a shop. You know what I mean? So I was like, that's a good idea. So I said, I got nothing to lose. I didn't have anything. So I said, let's go. I spent all my money. I only had $200 in my bank account to get this shop. And sure enough, day one, all the hard work of distribution and all the companies I dealt with, I made my first $100 and I said, this is a good idea, right? So fast forward, say like 10 years, riding the wave of Fast and the Furious like everybody did. That's when it really popped. We got the tuner scene opened up. There was only hydraulics back in the day. I was competing with guys with hydraulics. They're like, what is that stickers on your car? That's not paint. Yeah. I'm like, guys, this is what they're doing in California. Because we had connects in California. So they would tell me like, Chris, this is what's happening here, bro. You should bring it to Guam. So I listened. Sure enough, it boomed. Everybody has sticker graphics and all these things. We followed suit in the wave. And then, boom, VIP came up. It's like, what is this new thing, I got introduced to Junction Produce, shout out to Junction Produce. I said, let me get all these things. I brought it to Guam and I'm like, wow, this is a really nice type of style to go into, The influence just started from there. I started making more connects in Japan with distributors and started bringing it to Guam little by little.
All right, here's that GTR, one of two on the island. And you know, like many R34s, this car has a really cool story. So the owner basically picked it up back in 2020, so before COVID, before the prices went really, really crazy. And he stored it in Japan for a few years until that 25-year period hit. And then he was able to bring it into Japan. The thing is, that was a blue car. He actually sourced the blue car first, ended up selling that to his friend, but he also had this in Japan waiting, and then this recently arrived. So there are actually two R34 GTRs on the island, and we get to see one of them at least. So that, for me, as a GTR guy, makes it even cooler. So we're gonna start driving around with this in convoy as well. Try to get around some of the more main spots here in Guam, around Tumon Bay, and immortalize this group of cars, team made to excite, while we're here on the island enjoying car culture. All right, we've reached our destination at the village of Donkey, kind of going to show that, you know, Japan is so much of a country that guys here in Guam look up to. So we have a bit of space to look at the cars in detail now. You can see how the LS is repositioning, getting suspension up, and moving around a bit. The R34 GTR sounding great out on the streets of the island. This car actually runs the Nismo Spec 1 bumper with side skirts, rear finishers, and LM GT4s. And of course, this is something I'm very jealous of. They don't need to run plates in the front here, which just opens up that intercooler air intake there, letting that Nismo intercooler breathe. And of course, with this generation bumper, this is always an issue when it doesn't line up properly and keep the seal nice and tight in there. Let's keep moving. We got the black GS. I kind of love the sporty approach that they've taken with this one. In-game wheels, slightly twisted 5-spoke rim design, aftermarket brakes. Actually, one of the very few cars that I've seen here on the island with aftermarket brakes. I was actually talking to somebody here, and while people even build cars for power, they don't really have too many brake upgrades here because, of course, they don't go that fast. Unfortunately, the speed limit on the island is only 35 miles an hour, even if most cars kind of travel around 45 to 50, some a lot more. But yeah, just something I noticed while kind of looking at the show and the cars here on the island. We got the other two Lexus down here, the new gen IS and the Aristo, the GS. There is some proper fitment right there. Good tuck, front and back. Of course, only achievable with air suspension. And now it's raining. Great. Well, hopefully we get enough rain-free time to kind of get some more details of these cars, because it's so cool to see this kind of JDM approach executed so nicely. And if you guys are wondering, like I keep mentioning that I'm in Guam, but if you guys are not too familiar with Guam, Guam is a little island on the Mariana kind of island group, about a 3.5-hour flight from Tokyo, so not too far from Tokyo, very close to the Philippines and even Okinawa. So we are still in the Pacific region, and of course that car culture is shared right across to islands like Guam and the Philippines, like we saw last year in Manila. right, next up we are here at 671 Street Smart Motorsports, a local shop that caters to fabricating and building some of the craziest cars on the island. Anything from wild off-roaders like you see behind me, right down to kind of stanced street cars and right down to sports cars. So really catering to the scene. We're going to check out some of the cars that they brought out that have been built here and also take a look at the shop. I think, you know, the thing that really blew my mind since being in Guam these last couple of days is the variety that you get out here. So obviously, you know, JDM is the prevalent style. People really do build anything from old school Hondas and, you know, even bringing in JZX 90s, 80s, 100s from Japan out of the 25-year rule, you know, is kind of laxing, allowing some of the older models to be brought in. And right down to, you know, minivans and pickups and these crazy off-road vehicles. Like this thing, for example, is basically an older Jeep, or two of them actually welded together to create a four-door. This was never available as a four-door, so you can see how the shape of the door is actually the same front and back, and it runs 54-inch tires. I don't know if the size of this thing comes across on camera. And then some seriously powerful rock crawling goodness here. Ghost Energy runs a fully modified and supercharged monster V8 up front. Not much in the exhaust side of things. Massive axles. And basically built with lots of parts from specialists out in Alabama. And they were saying that, you know, because it takes so long to get stuff to be shipped out here on the island, they just go for the, you know, highest grade stuff. So the biggest axles, the biggest tires, everything that's just like top level stuff, so that when they build a car here, it just runs forever. The Toyota Hilux / Tacoma, these things do so well here. There's a big scene around them. And like we'll see inside, there's actually a pair of drag pickups. I didn't even know that was a thing. One runs a 2J, the other one runs a K-swapped engine setup. All like fully built drag specials. And I think the 2J one actually ran a 7 back in the States where it was actually built. So we're going to take a look inside in a second. But first, I just wanted to show you a few more examples of some of the cars that these guys here at 671 Street Smart Motorsports build. Check out this turbocharged S2000. So this crazy drag S2000 turned on for us quickly. You can see this barely, literally no exhaust, and of course race gas. And like a lot of people have been telling me here in Guam is that a lot of the car guys really try to keep their cars hidden. They don't really bring them out until there's like a good stage for them to show off crazy builds just like this. This, for example, was not at the show that we attended here on the island. And I think crafting a platform for these guys to show off their cars on an international level is exactly the kind of stuff that they need here. All right, we're here inside the shop now. I'm sweating, it's really hot, but we're gonna take a look at some of the cars that these guys are working on. And like I mentioned, it's a mix of trucks and drag cars and street cars. There's a sick 90 Mark II here, another pickup they're working on. There's an 90 series Supra over there. This pickup is actually really special. We ended up seeing this at the show that we were invited to check out here in Guam. This is a K24 swapped Toyota Tacoma truck, brought in from the mainland as a ready-to-run drag machine. Not really sure how fast this has gone, but the 2J1 has done a 7-second pass. All right, and just to give you an idea of how popular drag racing has always been here on the island of Guam, there's even a drag star sitting here on the side of the shop. And I kind of, you know, it's sad to see that these guys really have no place to go and do this anymore. The local racetrack has closed. These guys are still building cars, but they have no actual outlet to go and test and enjoy their cars. So it's kind of like suffocating the car scene. And I hope that with the stuff that we're showing here on the video, we kind of help get these guys to maybe persuade the owners and the people that run the track here on the island to open it up again. Check out this old school Tacoma. Love the two-door look with the big wheels, but come back here, there's another cool drag car that these guys are either working on or have been holding on to for a while. This is a Corvette Stingray bodied drag car. You can see it's all pipe frame, big, massive, big block. Again, hinting at the fact that drag racing used to be the motorsport of choice here on the island.
This is 671 Street Smarts, one of the premier paint shops out here. I mean, we do everything from classics to hot rods, the rails, imports, JDM stuff. We even do some mini trucks, lifted trucks. The shop's been around, I want to say for maybe 3-4 years. Right after COVID, it started popping off. You know, everybody just needed something to do. So a couple of the guys got together, formed it, and became this. Yeah.
At the heart of pretty much the culture here, right? Like building for the people.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, everybody on the island kind of knows, like, this is the spot. Like, if you want an outstanding paint job, if you want your paint job to look like glass, you check out this place, 671 Street Smarts. That's pretty much it. I mean, for a lot of the cool stuff. I mean, you look around, even right behind you, you got a regular Hilux, but I think it's gonna be gold pretty soon. Look at the Super back there. It's gonna be super cool.
Yeah, I think it really reflects the variety. Like, you know, I've really been surprised by how many different types of cars there are here on the island.
Yeah.
Like, it really is a nice kind of group of different stuff.
Oh yeah, yeah.
People like to do different stuff.
For real. I mean, it's a small island, but everybody, you're right. Everybody kind of likes a little bit of a different kind of variety in the motorsports industry. So, huge JDM scene. You guys saw that over the weekend over at the Micronesia Mall. Then you just see a couple killer mini trucks here. Off-road scene is ridiculously cool. You look at like a truck like this, 79 Toyota pickup, but it has the diamond axles and it's killer. Inside, outside, engine, custom engine. Then we also got buggies outside. So it's a real eclectic combination of cars and people. And that's the cool thing out here is we get a lot of people coming in from the military, from the Pacific, from Asia. This is kind of the hub. People come here, they check it out, they see what we got, and everybody's surprised because like you got 53 bugs, you got, you know, 65.
It's a melting pot of everything.
Of everything. You got muscle cars, you got hot rods, you got everything out here. And so it is cool. And the one thing is our island's small, so everybody kind of knows each other in the car scene, regardless if you do run with the JDM guys or if you're an off-roader. You're gonna come to one of the cool shops, you know what I mean? You're gonna come to this shop to get painted. You're gonna go to one of the off-road shops to get your stuff welded on. You're gonna stop by somebody's house and borrow a part and a tool. I mean, just
like
to
a
get
big
it done.
family, basically, right?
Exactly, and that's what we love out here. I mean, it's pretty cool.
And just to show how popular drag has been on the island for so long, they even have a proper dragster back here. But we are actually going to take out this Tacoma here, the 2J powered one. And you can see how short the exhaust is. And how cool is this old school Tacoma here? Two-door. Welcome to Guam. It's crazy. And check this out. I mentioned there's only 2 R34 GTRs on the island. We saw one yesterday, and this is the other one, Bayside Blue, with a complete Nismo Z-Tune carbon fiber front. My God. This is becoming a bit of a treat today. Like, everywhere I go, I get to see R34 GTRs. Just can't keep away. That's my kind of sound. But I have to say, the carbon fiber front looks sick in its unpainted finish. Right, so it's actually perfect timing that the R34 just showed up, because we're taking out most of the cars on the road. We're gonna try and get all the group moving, get some dynamic shots, and maybe do some drag starts again with this thing. I don't know, we'll see. Anyway, have some fun here on Guam. So here we are, back of the pickup. Seems to be a thing here in Guam to sit in the back of pickups and shoot cars while driving. We did it last night, we're doing it right now. We have a massive group of cars today, and we're just about to head out from the shop. K24 swapped, truck up front, Z-Tune front, R34 behind it, and the drag S2000 following. Should be a nice array of cars following us today. Little hatchet power there. I think it's a 2-speed. Oh my God, I think the sky is splitting up here. Look at this. It's like a V of darker sky. Look at this array. Guam's best. Out on the street. And the GTR leading the pack. Looks so crazy with that carbon front and all the Nismo goodies. So cool. Just an example of the crazy stuff you see here in Guam. That is literally the wildest sunset I've ever seen. Look at the cloud formation. Incredible. So there you go, we actually ended up shooting all these guys in convoy on some of these crazy roads here in Guam. Really nice to see a lineup of a bit of everything. JDM, we got street spec, we have drag spec, and we have style spec. So a bit of everything. Sick turn up for tonight. A massive thank you for everybody that took the time out to come and see us, get their cars out, and allow us to shoot what defines Guam car culture.
Seeing the sheer passion come across all the people I met probably makes Guam one of the most unique car cultures I've ever come across. You can tell a love for cars, modifying, racing, and outdoing each other really runs through their veins. It's tangible. On top of the island's car guys re-injecting energy into the scene, The biggest hurdle they face now is proving to the authorities that support is needed. Finding a way to bring the abandoned Guam Raceway Park back is a key element to help a once thriving car culture flourish again. It's not an easy task as there's strong opposition, but in my own small way, I hope bringing international visibility to this will help future talks get a positive result.
Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. It was really fun coming here, discovering a car culture that I never thought really existed, and kind of meeting the people behind it that were there since the beginning and kind of bringing it back to what it's probably going to become in a couple of years. I think there's a lot of stuff that's going to be happening here on the island, and I hope to be back to cover it more in the years to come. With that said, I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and check back soon for more.